Hey.
I think we're live and we're ready to go.
Think I see us?
We're going through. Sweet.
We're in this.
All right.
Hello.
All right. Cool. So we are Upper Deck. This is Mark across from me. My name is Ryan. And then with us are Nick and Mike Murphy, who are from the Gen Con side. Just kind of tuning in and hanging with us as we explain this awesome game, Keepers, and then we're back tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
For some versus system and some accessories that we are very, very proud of. So, pretty quick. We have 50 minutes, I believe.
Maybe a little less.
A little less, 45 minutes.
That. It's not a full hour.
Yeah,
okay.
There.
So we're gonna dive pretty much right in. Mark's gonna explain our new game, Keepers of the Questar. If there's any questions in the chat, feel free to ask as we go along. Nick, Mike, any questions from your side? Feel free to ask as we go through, and then we're gonna we'll play a game. We're not going to get through a game.
We probably won't go through
because we're going to be talking quite a bit.
Unless you get real lucky, but we'll at least go through the steps and understand what the game's all about.
Cool. All right. Well,
awesome.
Let's not waste any time. What is Keepers of the Questar?
So Keepers of the Questar is a 2-player 1v1 game designed by Gordon Levasseur. Gordon is a school teacher who wanted to design a game for kids to show not just cause and effect, but also consequence to action. And one of the games he loves to play are role-playing games. The downside to, say, a larger pencil and paper RPG is that you need a large group of people and you need a lot of time, usually a couple days. So he took that idea and boiled it down to a 2-player game that can usually play about 45 minutes. And in a normal RPG, someone would be, say, the quest master, and the other person would be either an adventurer or a group of adventurers. But this actually plays 2 games at the exact same time. So we're each going to play both sides of that. And it does that by, we will each take on the role of a quest master and design a map, fill that map with creatures and traps and portals and all sorts of fun stuff. And then once we're done doing that, we will actually take turns going through the other person's map, trying to complete that map first. So it's a bit role-playing game, it's a bit race, and there's just an absolute ton of customization and replayability on this.
Cool.
Do you want to...
Yeah, so we're going to switch cameras to Mark, and he's going to kind of show all the pieces of the game and whatnot.
Awesome.
So this is looking from the Questmaster side of this. You'll pick one of the 8 boards, and there's 8 different maps. And then you'll go through and actually fill these in. So we have what's called a quest sheet, and this will fill in what map you're running, the different styles of monsters you're going to choose, the different maps you're going to choose, if there's an item in the chest, if you're going to use that, and ultimately what that goal of that person is going to have to do. So this one, we're just going to make it easy, and we're going to do the find the Questar and escape. So we both need to get into the map, find the Questar, find the exit, and get out first. So normally you would just go through and just kind of check these off. There are different monsters and traps at each level, and the screen here that's in front of me will actually tell me what each creature does, how tough they are, if they have any special abilities, and if there's any questions on rules and stuff. It's all kind of self-contained in the Questmaster shield.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So is there, I know like the whole thing about this is the full customization for everything. So do you ahead of time, since you're both going to be building out your own map that your opponent's going to try to go through and stuff, is there, I guess, an amount? Is it you can choose like one of each little level 1, level 2, level 3 and stuff like that? And that's how, okay. Cool.
Yeah,
so there's going to be like an even amount of things to do, but what you choose is where the variety comes in.
Right. So each level is shown by a certain token. So there's only 3 different levels of each one. So you only select one from each level. So for the say the level 1 monsters, if I were to choose goblins, each of these would represent a goblin. But in the next game, if I chose say zombies, they would each represent a zombie. So it's a way of putting flavor into it without having, say, a massive amount of minis or tokens.
Awesome. That's
Well,
clever.
that's kind of where the role playing comes in, because so much role playing is your imagination, and like
Exactly.
it's like some people play. It's like this penny is a dragon. You're like, all right, it's just like, so it's a nice way to
In
kind
here,
of
it's all
really make
cinematic.
it
It's
feel.
great,
Yeah.
and I love that this showcase and uses that well, where it keeps again the components and everything simple, so it doesn't get bogged down by having a billion things. But within that, there's a ton of variety and
But it
flexibility.
also
It's really
keeps
cool.
costs down, which is nice. Minis
Yeah,
are great,
yeah.
but minis aren't free.
Yeah, yeah.
Designing a game for kids and then putting a large price tag on it doesn't really work. So trying to
They
keep
only
those
got so
costs
much
down,
allowance,
make it family friendly.
Yeah, that's tough.
So then once you get that figured out, you're actually going to put all of the tokens onto the map. You're going to go ahead and fill that map in. So you first put in where you're going to have them actually show up. And that could be a portal that comes in, or maybe they were having a fun time at the tavern last night and woke up in a strange place. And then you need to figure out where they need to go. So they need to find an out. And then the ultimate item that they're trying to find. So this is the fun part of trying to figure out, where do I think Ryan is going to go? Is he going to automatically go in? Is he going to go around? Is he going to come down? So even putting something, say, on the opposite side may not work, because that may be what they're thinking about, but putting something closer may be a little more dangerous. And then
There's some risk reward there, because that was my first thought, was like, I'm going to try to trick my opponent, and I'm going to put the item that they need is one space away from where they enter, because they're going to think I'm going far away.
Right.
So it becomes the meta game of this all, which is something, as we were talking about prior to the stream, that got me excited. Was there's just so much room to mess with your opponent's head, try to outsmart them, try not to outsmart yourself, which is something I do. I think I'm getting all clever, and then realize that I've thought around the problem instead of just taking the shortest route, which is super cool. I just love that. It all comes down to, what do I think this person set up for me? Try to get in their brain.
Yeah, and you will find yourself outthinking yourself.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to do that? Do I think they're going to go over there?
So while Mark
So
sets up his map, I'm going to show you mine, and I'll kind of walk you through the pieces here. So he's going to start here. He's going to have to work his way down here, or up, or left, or right. He doesn't know.
Right.
And then from there, he needs to exit out. I'm trying to figure out, okay, if I start him here, what's his pathing? Is he going to go here? Is he going to go here? And so the red lines, I don't know if you can see them. They're very faint, maybe bigger. Those are walls. And so as he's progressing, obviously he can't just go through a wall. So he needs to follow a certain path, and there's kind of that maze aspect to it where you can kind of lure him in and bait him. And, there's other things in here that he's looking for. There's a treasure chest down here. There's a wellspring, which will heal his heroes, which we'll get to. And so that's kind of my map. I'll head it back to Mark.
That's a pretty well spaced out map. Seems like everywhere you go, you set it up well, where you're gonna have to deal with something. And over here we have just a bajillion traps all around. Very nice.
Oh yeah.
And are there any rules when you're going through the opponent's dungeon? Can you I understand it's a race, and so are there any rules once you start on a path you have to keep going, or can you back up and go back around or anything like that? I'm guessing you waste time when you do that, but are there any limitations in terms of other than walls and stuff to your your movement?
No. So each turn you're given a certain number of exploration points based off of the number of adventures that you have. You start with 4. So basically you have 4 spaces you can move or investigate. So if you go into a place and have to backtrack, that's going to take more time. So it's all about that time. So we'll get in, once we start moving around, we'll talk about the investigation versus movement. It may be worth more to actually look into a place and see if there's anything there, rather than step in and step out.
Right.
So it's more about managing that.
Awesome. And then your kind of party of adventurers is represented by one figure that's moving around, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So one of the questions in the chat is, since there's 8 maps in the box, can you have 4 players?
The game itself only has enough tokens for 2.
Okay.
But there is rules in the rule book to play 3 or 4 player.
Okay.
But it does require 2 sets.
Okay.
And you can set it up more in a square or a triangle, to where the person, say, to your right is running your map, and then you're running the map to the person to the left.
Okay.
So that way you're constantly kind of keeping everybody involved.
Cool. and then just up front, and we'll do it again at the end. What's the price point on this game?
SRP is $24.99.
And then release date?
Should be in a couple of weeks, late March, early April.
Okay. All right. I'll continue.
Awesome.
So we got Heroes next.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to draft? Or you just want to grab one of the two?
Let's do it like they would do it. Draft it.
Okay.
Yeah. For the sake, just give me a stack for time. So usually you would draft them out. Heroes are face up. You choose the heroes you want. He'll show you.
Have so much time.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Time is.
So for the heroes themselves, we have 8 total heroes, and there is one from each of the different style house. You have everything from warriors to mages to like rangers, thieves, that kind of stuff. So my set is going to be Morrigan the Destroyer. She's a barbarian.
Nice.
Master Firth, the battle mage.
Love that.
High Druid Belly. He's a druid, obviously. And then Strahan the Bard. So each one of these characters has got a certain number of health, and obviously some guys are a little stronger than others. And each character has got 3 different powers or different abilities they can, and they unlock those by gaining experience points. And you'll get experience points from defeating monsters throughout the map. There is not enough monsters in the map to get everybody up to level 3. So you have to decide which ones you're actually going to fill in. So Morgan's more about, obviously she's the barbarian, so she's all about fighting and fury and moving quick. Whereas, say, Master Firth is more about altering things or even finding the Questar. So if I try and load this up to make sure I can find that Questar, but I find that Questar fast, I may have filled him up and lost experience that I could fill in for the other characters.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. So again, it comes into those moments where you're trying to think of maybe based off what you've discovered already and what you think you have yet to encounter. What areas do you invest in? I always love games like that where it gives you 4 things that you can invest in, but you will not be able to do them all.
Can't do everything.
You have to make those what direction do I go here?
Well, especially when you're drafting, I'm guessing a lot of it is just trying to find the cohesion between your group and like leveling certain things up and that drafting. I feel like drafting your adventures would be a really important part of the game because that kind of dictates like how they all kind of just mess with each other and stuff like that. It's not necessarily the best way to go about it. So drafting is a cool way to do that because it really makes you think about what you're trying to do there.
Yeah. And especially if you're able, like say you're for some reason really good at reading your opponent where he's going to put the Questar, you may not want to draft that hero and you might want to go for something else for battle. Say you're a bad guesser, you want and that's the really cool thing. Let me show you my heroes really quick. So I have Weapons Master Waylon, and he's great for battling. The 2 red cards, which are warriors, granted they're better at battling. And then I have Blind Harry. He's a thief. He's great at sniffing out the treasure token, and then he helps me disarm traps if I get his level 2 ability, and then he helps me see traps a space away from me as level 1 ability. You have Lauren Moonborn. She's a ranger, so she can attack ranged, which we'll get into all that. And then she can also disarm trap and then investigate and move in the same turn, which we'll get into. That's important. And then Gwendolyn, one of my favorites. My goal is to get her level 2 and level 3 ability, because level 2 I can investigate any space on the board at any time. And then her level 3 I can teleport 6 spaces. So if I find that Questar, I'm just hunting for that exit portal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And there are 8 adventures in the game, so you're always going to use all the adventures, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for the combination of who gets what for.
Yeah, that changes a lot, but okay, cool.
Sure.
All right, back to you, Mark, and we can. You want to show your board and just start, or is there any other things you want to talk about?
No, we can just go ahead and jump right in.
All right, we're going to jump right in, show you some gameplay. We're reading chat. Yep, Keepers of the Questar, and
Let's
here we
get
go.
some predictions. Who's going to win, chat? Let us
Yeah,
know.
I know, because one thing I realized, like we've seen both.
I know. I'm guessing we're going to win because we know where everything is.
I have
I'm going to go with us.
I'm willing to sell you guys information depending on it.
Yes, we're very easy to buy, so
Are there plans for any expansions, really quick? Characters, maps, extra tokens.
Not at the moment, but anybody else who may know one of our other games called Dungeon Draft, these characters are actually from Dungeon Draft. So
awesome.
we have an entire slew of characters that we can use. Plus, because it's a high fantasy style game, we can put just about anything our imagination has. I've got ideas of where I would like to take this, but we'll see how the players like it and build from there.
Of course, right?
Basically, you, the chat, can force the issue by buying it all up and then make them
There
make
you
more
go.
stuff.
If you have ideas of creatures or places you would like to visit within the game, let us know in chat.
Yeah, and
Good
this is one of
call.
those games where it's like, man, just give me more maps and more adventures. You know, that's
Absolutely.
one thing. It's just like
more
you can
options.
just do that, and it just more options, the better. You know, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so customizable. That's such a big part of it. You know.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes. There are plans, but nothing in the motion. Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so let's start. Welcome me to your map, and I'll welcome you to mine.
Okay. So you are going to start on I-4.
So, a really cool dynamic. We'll zoom out for this one. Is I have his board, and he has my board, and then behind this curtain, this what do you call this?
It's
Shield?
the Questmaster shield.
Shield
Screen.
is my board, and so he's going to tell me in, and I have a set of tokens that I'm going to put on this board, so I can kind of keep track of his map and vice versa.
Okay, cool. I was wondering if it's you can kind of make your
I
notes
was
as you
wondering
go.
how you actually go through because you have his map in front of you. That works.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So one more time, where am I going?
I-4.
I4, so I put my in token on I4, and then we have our little characters, and I'm going through the Great Hall.
Yep. So you've arrived at the Great Hall of Hrothgar. You have been summoned here to. There has been talk of the mythical item, the Questar, which
Okay.
everybody has been after. So you arrive at this, but it's in a more dilapidated state than you expected.
Okay.
So there you can hear screams and all sorts of unnatural things happening.
Okay.
Ooh.
And it kind of gives it, and if they're fun, they can, or if Mark's going to be nice to me, he can kind of give me a theme of what monsters may be hiding, because he selected level 1, 2, and 3 monsters, and so it could be a necromancer maybe hidden in there. So
Ooh.
okay, so for my map, you are going to be starting on E4, right in the middle
Right
of the
in
map.
the middle.
Yep, and you have entered the lost dreams of yourself. You have entered the forgotten dungeon of Mark's dreams,
More
and
like-
you're going to navigate this, searching for your memory,
Okay.
known as the Questar,
Okay.
and you need to get out, otherwise your mind's lost forever.
All right.
All right, and you're first.
Okay. I'll start moving.
Yep. So I'm going to leave it on my map so you can see what he's navigating, and we'll go from there.
So you are given 4 exploration points based off of the 4 adventurers that you start with. So if one of your adventurers is knocked out or dies, you then gain 3. So it becomes harder and harder to move around the map. So you really want to make sure that you try and keep these guys alive. So there are 2 things you can do with your exploration point. You can either move, which is you just call out, say, I'm going to move to the next space over. Obviously, you can't move through walls or you can't jump around unless you have an ability. The other thing you can do is you can point out a square that's near you, not through a wall, and say you're going to investigate, and then the questmaster has to tell you what's going to be in that spot. So I am going to go ahead and move to F4.
F4, nothing there.
And then over to G4.
G4, you step here on a twig, but a lightning bolt comes down and strikes you. So you take 1
So I'm
damage
going
to
to
a
take
hero.
1 damage.
Ouch.
So
And
the
then-
1 damage, we actually have damage tokens. You want to show that on your map?
Oh,
Awesome. And since your entire party is shown by that figure, can you assign damage how you want to kind of space it out evenly, or knock someone out? Because I imagine it is good to keep all of your people with you as long as you can.
Yes. So anytime you gain damage, unless it specifies that it can only be applied to a single adventure, you can spread that damage out. You all attack together. You all move together. So in
Your
battle,
team,
if you're taking multiple wounds, you've got multiple people that are fighting, so they each can space that out. Experience points, on the other hand, has to be applied to just one character. There's going to be that one character that hits that death blow. So they're the only ones that are going to gain that. But health can definitely be spread out.
Awesome.
All right, so that was a
Level 1 trap.
Level 1.
And so since he did it, I flipped it
So
upside down, there's a check mark, so know that he hit that.
Yeah, there's a check mark on the opposite side of the of most of these tokens to show that that's been done. So
Awesome.
you can kind of check and balances.
Okay.
Let's see, so 1, 2. I'm going to go ahead and move down to G5.
Okay.
Anything there?
Nothing there.
And then I'm going to use my last point to investigate G6.
G6, you see water coming out of the wall. You hit it, and a wellspring comes up from the ground into the wall.
So the wellspring is one of the few things that can actually heal. It is obviously it's something that's part of the room, so it's not something you can carry with you. It's not like a potion.
Yeah.
It does heal somebody up full. So it's one of those things that I may have to remember and come back to if I take too much damage.
Yeah,
Good call.
You got someone all leveled up. You really don't want them to die. I'm gonna come on, pop on back real quick.
Take a little
Find
sip.
that early. That's a good. And then, is there a way on your board to indicate what you found where?
Absolutely. So what you're seeing on his side has got the circle tokens, and then you're also given the same number of tokens that are square that I then fill in on my map. So I'm filling my map in as I move around. That's kind of why we've got it set up to where he can kind of see what my map is, and I can see what his map is to make sure that he's checking those items off as we move around.
Perfect.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
and having the numbered and lettered grid makes it really easy to verify that things are placed correctly. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the way you got it set up here is I'm running his map, and then I've got my map here that he's running. So you can kind of see what's going on.
So he just put the wellspring because he found it in G6.
Yes.
Yeah, so he has that reference point now moving forward and back to it. Yeah, great.
And you also know the number of monsters and traps that you're going to come across. So if you go through and have already checked off all 5 of, say, the level 1 monsters, I know that I'm not going to find that level 1 monster again. So it's a way of kind of, I haven't found that 3 yet. That big guy's around here somewhere. I haven't run into him yet. So
process of elimination,
That's cool.
That's
awesome.
The last stage of your turn.
So once you're done moving, you can actually go back to your quest map and move a monster. So now that people start moving around, you need to be able to react to how they're moving. Maybe they have headed off in a direction you weren't expecting, or maybe they're going through your monsters a little faster and you're trying to kind of get the rest of your guys to come around to protect the exit. So you can actually start moving some people around. And I am going to move.
Yeah, because in the beginning of the game, the one rule during setup is you can't put any of the 2 of the same token next to each other.
Correct.
Okay.
But once the game starts, you can move monsters and stack them on things and whatnot.
Right. So you can move monsters to protect an item or protect the exit.
I see. Yeah. So you can just have them standing right over that.
Yeah, that way you can't just stack everything on one thing to drill down through.
You have 6
It
battles.
does kind of force that.
Yeah.
That's good. It makes sense because they're monsters. They're moving around. They're not stationary.
Yeah. Again, that thematically works, right?
Yeah. So like what would you say like is your general strategy when you're like searching? Like when you're just like, what is it? Just like gut feeling? Like you're like, man, E6. So like, what would you say is like generally a good strategy to kind of go for as you're kind of moving through your opponent's dungeon? Again, a lot of it probably makes like who's your opponent, right? But you have a general strategy you like to use?
I personally don't. It may come down to kind of the map and maybe the story I'm trying to tell. Like, is there a throne that maybe I put a guy on, or is there a crypt that it might be a little more ornate that maybe the big guy comes out of? So there might be more of a story involved. But Ryan and I have played multiple times, so we've kind of learned and corrected ourselves as we played each other. So what I used to place may not be how I place now.
Especially since I've played you on this map, as I'm realizing your Questar was B5 and your Necromancer was in E3. So hopefully it's different this time. Otherwise, my strategy is really you want to sweep in either clockwise or counterclockwise on the outside.
Yeah.
Because the moment you try to just kind of go your own way, you're going to forget where you were, and it's going to be really hard to track, even with placing tokens. So
That's a good point.
See,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm too chaotic for this. I would just be like, I'm going down this hallway. It just with no like just no strategy at all.
Again, the cool thing is with this, like you could be telling that story. You are running a chaotic party, and that's what you do, and like that's a valid choice.
That's fair, you know.
Yeah, actually, the last time that he and I played on this map, he beelined it right for everything. And it's like, how do you know what's going on? I could have put both of the exit and the Questar right next to him at the beginning, and he just tore off and didn't even look around, just ran right for it. So you have no clue what your opponent's going to do.
Of course, right? Yeah.
Right.
All right, cool.
That's the key.
All right. Well, so now you moved your monster. It's back to my turn, so I'll show you Mark's map, and you can kind of see as I'm navigating. I'm going to beeline it again.
Go for it.
My man.
But I'm going to beeline it up. I3.
So I3s, you step away from the front, and you are immediately met by a goblin sentry.
Whoa.
Level 1. So level 1 monster. Now we get to show you the fight mechanic. So Mark will
It's a pretty different fight mechanic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So in battles in this, normally in a paper and pen RPG, you've got a dice to roll, and you have that dice to blame when things don't go well. But our designer Gordon wanted to make sure that the kids that were playing had some sort of consequence. So the mechanic is really easy. The goblin that he's fighting is a 1-to-4 battle. So you're given 6 tokens, number 1 to 6. So in this, I'm going to choose one of these 4 tokens. And of these tokens, all Ryan has to do is choose the token that I picked. But if he misses, he gets a wound. And he continues to guess until he guesses correctly. So from this one goblin, he could lose 3 hit points.
I love it.
Makes sense, right? Because like when you're fighting a goblin or any really enemy of these kinds of games, it's like you hit them once, not like, all right, cool, we're done. It's like, no, you got to keep going until one of you wins.
You could one shot it, you could crit it, but and I like the fact that you continue until there's a final result, right? You defeat them.
Yeah, there's a level 3 monster Minotaur. It's a 1 to 6, and then after that it's a 1 to 4, all in the same battle.
Right.
And I was playing one of our other artists, and I gained 8 wounds in that fight. and I was down to one character with 1 health left, and I was 3 spaces away from exit portal.
3 whole turns.
But it was 3 whole turns, and so he beat me. It was embarrassing. Right. So one fight just destroyed me. And so anyway, all right. Wild. So let me guess your number. I'm gonna think you're gonna go with a 2.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh man.
Okay, so with a 2, I'm gonna get an XP point, which he can show you over there, whatnot. These little tokens, and I'm gonna put it next to my ability that I want to.
So when you apply the experience point to a character, the 3 different levels that they have is unlocked by a certain number of experience. So that first one that he's going to gain is going to automatically unlock the first ability of whichever character you want. In order to unlock level 2, you have to have 2 more experience. And to unlock number 3, you have to have 3 more experience. So in order to unlock all 3 of these abilities, you have to have 6 total experience.
Wow. And then as they become available for the rest of their game, so long as they're not knocked out, they have that ability that they've unlocked.
Correct.
So each turn, each adventurer can use 1 ability.
Okay.
So you may have a character that has the ability of, hey, I can move an extra space, or I can guess more numbers during an attack. So you need to kind of guess as to, should I use this one now, or should I wait and hopefully I'll come across somebody to attack and then I can use that other one? Or do I save this until the end of the turn and then use it once I'm done moving around?
Okay, interesting.
Very cool.
All right.
Yep.
So that was my first movement. So I got my 1 XP. I put it on Gwendolyn, unlocking her Wizard's Intuition, which I can use at any point to learn how many spaces away the nearest monster is. I'm going to save that ability till the end.
Okay.
Interesting. So I'm going to go up to I2.
There's nothing there.
I1.
I1. You hear a flash, and then you are surrounded by darkness.
Darkness, which is a level 2 trap. So I'm going to put my little level 2 icon here.
So that is your remaining exploration points are cut in half, rounded down. So you only had 1 left.
Mm-hmm.
So now you are out of movement.
Right, because it goes to a half and stuff. All right, so that ends my turn based off of how many points I had left. It's a good trap. Good trap. And then will I move a monster? Yes. All right, back to my map. And this usually picks up pretty quick once we get through that initial stuff. So feel free to stop us at any point. Are there any campaign aspects where things are advancements carry over from game to game, or is each game standalone?
That's entirely up to the players. The game itself is kind of based in a world that we're calling Arbandy, but the locations and what happens within that world can be built and grown upon by the players. And maybe at some point we could actually release a whole campaign that goes across all 8 maps.
Yeah.
But right now we're just leaving it up to the imaginations of the players and just seeing how much fun they can have with it.
Yeah, I love that this whole system really feels like kind of a playground, and it would be easy to, like, when you tripped that trap just now and it went to darkness, and you could tell another story that ultimately leads to the same game mechanic effect, but it's just a lot of cool room to explore. It's really awesome.
And each game is go ahead.
No. I was gonna say it's good. There's definitely some, I feel like, some cool campaign stuff where you can do where you're like, if you had lost some adventurers, and you find the wellspring, it lets you bring previous adventurers back, so you get back to your full party or something like that. Like, you could do some cool stuff. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the whole point of this thing, it seems like it's just so modular, so customizable. So it's just kind of like, do what you want. You know?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Pieces are here. Go at it as you will. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the end of my turn. So we'll go back to my map, and Mark continues his turn.
So I'm going to go ahead and step out in the hall at H5.
H5, you trigger a nest. That nest is a skeleton nest that attacks you. Pokes you in the eye.
The nest unleashes a level 1 character, or a level 1 monster. All right, so Ryan's going to choose a 1 to 4. Let's go ahead and start with 3.
3 is it? Gosh.
Oh.
We're making this look like it's too easy to guess people's
We're
numbers.
totally making this like it's way too easy.
But this is one of those games. It's just like dice rolling. It's like you're gonna have hot hands for a second, but then all of a sudden that luck's gonna run out. You're gonna get hurt.
All right, so you get an XP because even though it's a trap, it triggers the fight. So
Correct.
You put that on.
I went and put it on Morgan. So that's kind of one of those things where is your trap unleashes more monsters, which cause more damage, but also gives me more experience. So it's one of those balances.
Yeah, so that's part of the strategy as well, is when you're setting up not only setting up your map, but when you're selecting on your quest sheet, setting up a map, am I going to have him do a bunch of fights in the beginning and try to weaken like do a lot of damage to his heroes or adventurers? Or is he just going to gain a bunch of XP and be able to just blast through the rest of the map? And so it's kind of balancing that strategy.
That's interesting. The cool thing is, I know you're saying, like, with the design of this game, the idea is to teach kids and people, cause and effect. So you try that, and it doesn't work out, or it works out great. But you at the point is that you made a choice, and things happened, and hopefully it goes in your favor. But it's awesome.
The designer Gordon didn't want just a game that you just kind of jackhammer your way through a map, and it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You just keep pushing your way through it. So it's all about making those choices.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, super cool.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move down to H6.
Okay.
Anything here?
Nothing there.
Go ahead and jump into I6. Check out what's going on here. Nothing. And then let's say 1, 2, 3. So my last one, I'm going to investigate I7.
I7, you see a treasure chest. With cobwebs on it. Looks like it could be alive.
Oh, jeez. So that would be my 4th.
Okay.
So I'll have to wait till next turn to figure out. That's the infamous mimic.
Yeah, so the treasure chest, everyone's aware, it can be a mimic, a 1 to 4 fight, a resurrection scroll, which will revive your adventurer up, which at this point wouldn't do him a lot of good, or an XP potion, which is a huge benefit to him, where he can unlock a full ability level, in which case, right now, he probably wouldn't want to use it, but he can technically get Morgan up to, or get her level 2 ability right away, which is going to be really good.
Wow, okay.
Very cool.
There's also space on the quest sheets that you guys can fill in whatever you would like. So if you wanted to have something different inside that chest, because maybe it's going on a campaign that you're running, there's places to put that in. You could.
Very cool.
Yes, immediately
Do whatever you
scrolls
want.
in. There's cross
Really quick,
It's the
hold on.
Questar.
Yeah, it's the Questar. It's hidden in the chest.
But it's a fake one. You don't know it until you get to the exit.
That blows you up and all your heroes are gone. Okay.
Turns out.
Okay, so that was your turn. Would you like to move monster?
I did.
Okay, so back to me.
Yep.
And or back to his, but my move. All right, I'm gonna go over to H1.
Nothing in H1.
I forgot to use my wizard's intuition.
Yes, you did.
That's all right though. I'm gonna go G1,
Still nothing there.
F1,
Still nothing there.
Big moment.
Go to Crossroads.
What should I do here? Brothers, help me. Do I
I
go
mean,
up?
we can see the board.
You could hear.
Oh, you
try,
can.
Board.
That's what I mean. Tell me what to do. I'll go.
try F2. Try F2. See what happens.
Yeah.
I'll go F2.
So F2, you open the door, and you're immediately met by the butler,
Hello?
who is a giant orc.
Ooh, orc. Thanks, brothers. I appreciate that.
We're too chaotic for this. You can't ask us
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that.
Just wanted to see death. All right, so an orc is a level 2 monster. It's a 1 to 6 fight. Yikes.
You got this. You've been guessing great.
Crushing it.
So 1 to 6. Would you go into the 5-6 realm, or do you go? I'm gonna guess 5.
We're making this way too easy.
You're in
Yeah,
each
exactly.
other's
We're here to
minds.
help you
We're
out.
deep in each other's minds.
Yikes.
Look at that. It's weird just trying to get you some XP real quick.
Man, can
Yeah.
we get some dangs in chat for that? Awesome.
This is very rare. Again, like I said, I had that one time where I guessed I could not hit the guy.
I know, right?
So you're going to gain 2 experience for that.
Mm-hmm.
And while you were searching the body, you stepped on something wrong and were shot with a bolt.
Gosh. All right. Who stepped on the wrong thing?
Yep.
Darn it, Alurin. You get the wound.
You know, who's the clumsy one, right?
Yeah.
Someone's just looking at the art on the walls.
Oh, you
going
know
around the
what? For thematic purposes, Blind Harry.
There you go, right? Come on. We're telling a story.
He's out there looking for traps
Yeah.
and just stumbled right across it.
Okay, so I got that done, and that was my 1, 2, 3, 4.
That was your 4th.
So that is done. Let me move a monster. And I am going to search a single space because with that orc, I unlocked Mind's Eye. And I can investigate any space on the board. And so I am going to start searching that left side of the map. But first, I'm going to look at D5.
There is nothing in D5.
Nothing in D5.
You can see a lovely bed. Doesn't look comfortable.
All right. Yeah, looks like a chair. Okay. Then I move my monster back to you.
All right. Well, I need the experience, so I'm going to go ahead and move down to I7.
I7, and you run into a treasure chest that is actually dead. Inside, you find a XP potion,
Oh, very nice.
Ooh.
which allows you to unlock 1 full ability on any hero.
So the XP would fill in to the next level.
Yes.
So if you only had 1 on your level 2, it would just fill in to unlock that level 2.
Yeah.
It wouldn't jump you all the way up to
I
level
see.
3.
Yeah. And so if you have, like for me, I have my level 2 ability. If he gave me I can unlock my level 3 right away and do all 3
Right.
in there.
So you kind of hope you don't find it right at the start of the game because you want to be able to get that more expensive kind of bump up.
Yeah. You can't hold the potion, correct? You have to use it or leave it, right?
The potions you can carry. The scrolls you can carry.
Okay. So do you want to carry it and wait?
No, I'm going to go ahead and unlock it.
Okay.
I went ahead
Yeah,
and
'cause
just
the
brought
guy's
out
holding
to Morgan.
Okay.
She gives me an ability to move an extra space.
Okay. So yes, to answer your question in chat, you can carry it. You just can't carry the wellspring.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because
That's
the
it.
wellspring heals somebody all the way up.
Okay. And that's the only thing
Yeah.
you can't carry. Everything else,
That's
all
the
other
only
items.
thing.
can you carry the mimic?
This thing is fighting me.
I think you can try, but I don't think the mimic would enjoy that.
If you believe you can. We're telling a story here, right?
Throw the mimic at the necromancer?
Yeah,
There you go. That would be very thematic. So drink the potion and then fill it up in the wellspring and carry it out around the wellspring.
There you go. And they got bottled wellspring.
Yeah, I was thinking about board gamers. They'll find ways to break anything.
Desanti.
Unfortunately, you guys are all about drink and then smash. So once you finish drinking, you got to break the bottle, and then otherwise it's bad luck.
The mimic becomes a bag of holding.
Just keep shoving.
I would love, get the game, and you guys can totally mix and match.
Do whatever you want, right?
I love
it. Why not?
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move back up to I6, which is my second. Move up to I5.
Okay. Nothing.
Yeah, because you're down a little corridor there, so it's kind of. Ooh, that could be really bad if it wasn't mimic. You're like, wow, I went all the way down here for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Cool.
I4.
Investigate or move?
I'm going to move up to I4.
I4. You find something shiny. It was just a rock. Nothing there, actually.
But it was a nice rock.
It was a nice rock. It was a boulder.
Real polished.
3, 4. And then, so I'm going to go ahead and use No Fear on Morgan.
Okay.
And move into H4.
All right.
Still nothing?
Nothing there.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Go ahead and move one of your one of my monsters.
Quick question: are there any limits in terms of where you can start the hero in your dungeon, or where you can put the Questar, or can you just put them wherever?
You can put them whatever. There is one map known as the Fire Fields that has a river of lava moving through the middle of it.
Oh, cool.
Actually, is that yours or mine?
Neither. That's mine.
Switch over mine.
Yours. Yeah.
So we have one map that's known as the Fire Fields. So you've got these 5 spaces here that you can't put something in because they're surrounded by walls.
Whoa.
So this is one of those maps that's kind of unique because the only way to pass or cross from one side to the other are these 4 sections. So each map is slightly different and may have you may want to use different tactics based off the map.
Okay, cool, interesting.
Very cool.
Rad, yeah.
All right.
Man, okay.
Cool. Yeah. Looks like we're down to our last 9 minutes, so we'll do maybe one more turn. Do final.
Yeah, if anyone in chat has any questions, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Absolutely.
This is your map, which it's my turn. So here we go. I'm going to go continue my pathing down to F3. Oh, wait. That's not a wall. I'm going to go over, to G2.
G2 has got nothing.
And investigate G3.
G3 has a very ornate fountain that has sparkly liquids flowing from it.
It's LaCroix.
It's got
It's quite
LaCroix.
tasty.
I am going to leave that there. Maybe come back to it. H2.
Nothing H2.
And final one to H3.
H3, you come across a goblin servant.
Servant. The butler.
You're getting all these monsters out of the way, though. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm getting XP, so this is good.
Right? It's not a bad thing. It's not like a bad thing to hit monsters. You kind of need to.
Yep.
Right.
Sometimes you're searching for those monsters. And one of the goals, besides find the Questar and escape, can be rescue the captive, which could be like the treasure chest or whatever you choose, along with clean out the infestation, which is I'm hunting for monsters.
Yes.
Which is a lot of
That's
fun.
right, because it's not always just looking for the Questar.
Yeah, I like the different, totally different goals and stuff. Now the question is, now that you've done a few battles here, now does the question come in: are we repeating numbers, or is it going to be some other new numbers? 1 to 4, right? This time, but what number?
1 to 4.
1 to 4. You picked
I did.
1.
No.
Ooh, there, our first wound.
There
It is possible.
you go. The luck's going to run out eventually.
It is.
4. All right, I'll take that.
Yeah, we made the battling a little easy.
Yeah, we should have. All right, hey, Blind Harry. Sorry, bro, you got smacked in the face. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4. That was my last one. I'm going to use Mind's Eye and look at B2.
B2, you see an orc clean out some stalls.
Okay.
And Tabletop Bellhop asks, I see a lot of text on the screens. What is all that? It's kind of like your DM screen, right? It has all the information.
Yeah, I think it
about
has
all the...
Correct.
Information, story elements about all the tokens you're seeing, correct?
Yeah, so this kind of lays out what the different monsters and traps can be. It also can it's a quick reference for fighting, traps, healing, moving around, that kind of stuff. So that way you don't have to go back to the rule book often.
Yeah.
You're not fighting over the rule book as you're the first time playing.
Yeah, I love all that quick reference stuff, so that it becomes easy to remember how many tokens need to be used for the battles and things. And stuff like that's nice because you have those reference points that makes it easy to kind of get into the storytelling and stuff, because you're not just trying to hold on to the kind of mechanical bits and stuff.
Right.
I think we're going to stop there from gameplay.
Sure.
All right.
Let's do a quick recap of the game, and if there's any other questions in chat. Is it available to order now, or is it going to be released soon? In a couple weeks?
Yeah, it should be released in a couple weeks. It is available to order now. We've got through our distribution channels, so it should be available at your local game stores.
Cool. It's $24.99, you said?
$24.99 is SRP.
SRP. You get 8 maps, 8 heroes, 262.
It's 162.
I missed the number.
162
tokens.
Nice.
Order through our store. You get an exclusive hero. Do you have that hero? It's you know what? I have it.
Not.
Mark, give me a quick one last overview of what the game is.
Sure. So Keepers of the Questar is a 2-player 1v1 role-playing style game. What makes it unique from other role-playing games is both players takes on the role of both the questmaster and the adventuring party. It does that by allowing both players to set up and create a map or create a story, and then having your opponent go through that, and it's kind of a race of trying to complete the other person's map or the objective within that map before they complete yours. Your maps are filled with a variety of monsters and traps, items, and so there's 8 different maps, 8 different adventurers.
Okay.
That can be mixed and matched. For the monsters, there's 3 different types of each level. For their traps, there's 3 different types of each level. So the replayability is massive. The customization is massive. And players could even create their own if they wanted to, because the tokens themselves only represent something. They don't represent an exact item, so they can be used multiple ways.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yep.
So if you happen to order the game through, you want to bring mine up?
Yep.
If you happen to order the game through upperdeckstore.com, we have an alternate. This is Blind Harry that comes with the game, but we have Anwar, who is a rogue. So she's going to be an alternate character that you can get as well.
Same abilities,
just a different artwork.
Okay.
And that's you order through Upper Deck, right?
Yeah.
Yes, upperdeckstore.com.
Awesome.
And then the last thing, I think, just for them, even though they saw, I'm curious, where was your Questar?
The Questar was in D7. Just kind of hanging out. Somebody walking past dropped it and didn't realize what they had. But the out was at G4.
So I was in that pocket.
You were in the pocket. You were in the area.
Okay, and then you had to go up to H1, which you were on your way.
I was kind of going that way.
And then you had to go to A7 all the way to that
opposite corners.
So we got 60 seconds left. If there are any other questions, we're going to be here tomorrow doing another stream for Versus, but feel free to bring any other questions for Keepers. Sure. It's a great game. I love it.
It seems really cool. I really love the idea.
Just love the concept behind it, its creation and stuff. With any game that I love, that it gives that freedom to explore and everything, but then also it serves to teach and stuff. It's really cool, and just the fact that you have the tokens, just have numbers and things, keeps it wide open for how you want to interpret it. Super fun.
Yeah,
that is super cool.
Yeah, there's enough there to give you something to visualize, but also it doesn't completely exclude your imagination of what those items could be.
Yeah, and the fact that you're both DMing and running, the other thing is also really cool. So everyone gets to participate in all aspects all the time. Super fun.
Yes.
And then this can be played technically virtually. Like if they had the copy of the game, we could play them, no problem.
That's a good point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you both have a copy and we're both at home, we could just set this up as long as you could see what the other person was doing. You could definitely play this over online.
So
That's very
great,
cool.
Great quarantine game.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Especially right now. That's a very cool point. Yeah. And he says $24.99, right?
$24.99.
Yeah, $24.99.
You get a lot of stuff in this box.
That's really not bad. That's awesome.
Get it from Upper Deck now. Get that alt. Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nick, Mike, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
We'll
Yeah,
be here tomorrow.
everybody for
And-
some verses. It's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, and then I guess I go to a different screen for them. We'll just see you all later.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being
See y'all
here.
tomorrow.
Really appreciate
For
it.
the rest
Yeah.
of the
We'll see
showcase.
y'all tomorrow.